Mark wrestled a heavy box, his muscles aching. "It's like this house doesn't want to be furnished," he grunted. Rachel chuckled, her breath misting in the cool air. It was October, and the old house held a chill even on sunny days. "Give it time," she said, wiping dust from a cobwebbed window. "It just needs to get used to us." They had purchased the house for a steal, a rambling Victorian on a secluded lane. The realtor had been evasive about its history, mentioning only colourful past inhabitants. Now unpacking boxes, they were starting to understand what that meant. Every floorboard creaked, every draft whispered secrets. The attic was their last frontier. A single bare bulb cast anemic light, revealing a jumble of forgotten belongings. Rachel brushed cobwebs from a velvet drape, uncovering a tarnished mirror. "Wow," she breathed, its ornate frame surprisingly well preserved. The glass, however, was clouded, obscuring its reflection. "It's beautiful. Maybe we can get it restored." Mark joined her, his brow furrowed. "It's giving me the creeps," he admitted. "Like something's watching us." Rachel laughed, but a shiver danced down her spine. The attic suddenly felt colder, the air heavy with unseen eyes. The first sign was the whispering, a soft, almost imperceptible sound that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. Soft, sibilant murmurs that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves, as if the house was trying to communicate in a language long forgotten. Rachel would catch snippets of conversation, just on the edge of hearing, words that were almost clear but slipped away like smoke. Then came the shadows, flickering movements in the periphery, gone when she turned her head, leaving her questioning her own senses. A fleeting glimpse of a tall figure disappearing around a corner, always just out of reach, always just beyond the light. "It's the house settling," Mark assured her. But even he sounded unconvinced, his eyes darting to the corners of the room as if expecting to see something. One night, Rachel woke to a cold presence in the room, a chill that seemed to seep into her very bones. The mirror's surface seemed to swirl, the clouded glass parting like a curtain to reveal something beyond. For a fleeting moment, she saw a man's face staring back, pale, gaunt, with eyes that burned with a cold fire, eyes that seemed to see right through her. She gasped, and the vision vanished, leaving her alone in the dark, her heart pounding in her chest.
Section 4. The face in the glass. The face in the mirror became a constant torment for Rachel. Every time she glanced at the glass, it was there, staring back at her with an intensity that sent shivers down her spine. It was always there, lurking just beneath the surface, watching her with an unblinking gaze. She could feel its presence even when she wasn't looking directly at it. Its gaze followed her every move, a silent observer to her growing fear and paranoia. Rachel tried to convince herself it was her imagination, a trick of the light, but deep down, she knew better. The face was real, and it was getting closer. The mirror was more than just a reflection. It was a portal, a gateway to another realm, and something evil was trying to break through, clawing its way into her world. One night, Mark found her huddled in a corner, her eyes wide with terror and her body trembling uncontrollably. She was clutching a blanket, as if it could protect her from the horrors she had seen. "He's coming," she whispered, her voice barely audible, pointing a trembling finger at the mirror. Mark followed her gaze, his own heart pounding in his chest. The glass was no longer clouded. It was clear, revealing the sinister figure that had haunted Rachel's dreams. Staring back at them was the man from Rachel's nightmares, his face twisted into a malevolent grin. His eyes burned with malevolent glee, glowing with an otherworldly light that sent chills down their spines. With a deafening crack, the mirror shattered into 1,000 pieces, scattering across the floor like shards of a broken reality.
Section 5. The mirror's cold embrace. Shards of glass rained down as the man stepped out of the mirror. The air grew colder with each passing second, the temperature dropping rapidly as if the warmth was being sucked out of the room. His touch was icy cold, his grip like a vice. It felt as though his very essence was made of frost, chilling anyone who came into contact with him to the bone. He laughed, a hollow, chilling sound that echoed through the house. The laughter seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere, filling the empty spaces with an eerie resonance. Mark lunged, but the man flung him aside like a rag doll. The force of the throw sent Mark crashing into the wall, leaving him dazed and gasping for breath. He grabbed Rachel, his touch draining the warmth from her body. She could feel the life being sucked out of her, her strength waning with each passing moment. "You cannot escape your reflection," he hissed, pulling her towards the shattered remains of the mirror. His voice was a sinister whisper, filled with malice and dark intent. The broken glass seemed to reach out like hungry teeth. Each shard glinted menacingly, as if eager to consume anyone who came too close. Rachel screamed as she was dragged through the shattered surface, Mark's desperate grasp slipping away. Her cries echoed in the room, then silence. The house stood empty, the shattered mirror reflecting nothing but dust and shadows. The once vibrant home was now a hollow shell, devoid of life and warmth. The whispering had stopped, the shadows stilled. The oppressive silence was a stark contrast to the chaos that had just unfolded. The old house on Harbinger Lane had claimed 2 more souls. Its dark history continued to grow as it stood silently, waiting for its next victims.